Now have our talk about social media and surgery with Dr. Jazz and Miss Tasha. So Dr. Jazz, Dr. Jazz is a core surgical trainee with a theme job in pediatric surgery, and she's now also enjoying very much general. And she's a queen educator, and she was previously the president of Leicester Scrubs. She enjoys motivating future female surgeons. And Ms. Tasha is a consultant breast surgeon and reconstructive breast surgeon, photocaster, and researcher. She's also a surgeon educator who's passionate about getting more women into surgery and encouraging them to get into the field. Jazz and Tasha are queen advocates of SoMe for surgery to inspire and educate the female surgeons of the future. They'll provide us with a personal insight of their own experience as surgeons of the future, and they will provide us and they will provide us with a personal insight of their own experience as surgeons when using the different social media platforms. Tasha?
Oh, hello.
Hello. No, that's fine.
Sorry.
Let me stop sharing.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tasha. I'm a breast cancer surgeon, and apologies for the slightly late start because there was a bit of a frantic problem with at my end. So I'm glad we're here, and I hope you've had a good lunch and you're well ready to go for the next session. So I'm going to be talking for 20 minutes about social media and essentially my journey in the social media sphere. So let's hope this works.
Yeah, it's working. It's perfect.
Working? Fabulous.
Yeah, thank you. I'll see you in a bit.
Hey. Great. So can you just see my slide and not everything else?
We can see your slide. You might need to put in full screen. Yeah, or use slideshow. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, great. So yes, I'm going to be talking for 20 minutes or thereabouts about my social media journey. And as previously mentioned this morning, I guess we are preaching to the converted because I'm sure you are all very savvy with social media, and I'm sure I'll probably have something to learn from you guys. So this is, from my perspective, being I guess a consultant surgeon, which is somewhere quite, far from where you guys are, and it will give you hopefully a slightly different perspective. So what is social media? Well, this is what social media is, according to Wikipedia. It's an online mediated technology that facilitates the creation and sharing of information, ideas, and other forms of expression via virtual communities and networks. And, we are all affair with social media. I'm sure many of you, or maybe some of you don't really know what life would be like without social media. But, I did not grow up with social media. In fact, I am that old. I remember a time when social media did not exist, and it was a very different world then compared to what it is now. When I was growing up and when I was in, medical school, and most of my adult life, I would have to go and buy, printed paper for my news and, for magazines and things like that. That's what I needed to buy. But now we've got microblogs and blogs. You can just go onto the internet and get what you want. All your information is at your fingertips. Do you know what this is? It's a radio. It looks so ancient. A radio would be, you have a broadcast and you have to listen to whatever it is that you want to listen to there and then. You can't rewind it. You can't fast forward it. If you want to listen to the, Top of the Pops or the charts at 7 o'clock on a Thursday, I think it was, you had to be in front of your radio to listen to it. Now everything is on demand, and you can have you can listen to podcasts, for example. You can listen to whatever it is that you want at your leisure. Remember those letters I had to write to my friends at far and wide all around the world to keep in touch with them, to connect with them. remember had to put a pen to paper, put it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, go to the post office and put it in a letter. I mean, it was just, it was such, it was a laborious thing, but that's what we had to do. Now, obviously, it's, it's very different. We have all of these social media platforms that, on your fingertip, you can connect to your friends, aunts, uncles, colleagues, whoever, literally across the world in an instant. Watching television, I think a lot of us, or the younger generation anyhow, do not watch television anymore, and they consume their information and their media not through television. We used to have only 4 channels. Well, when I was growing up, I had 4 channels, that's it. And then a 5th channel was added. So we had 5 channels. And then you got cable, you got Sky, you got Virgin, and that was a revelation. And now you can get anything literally on your fingertips and on your smartphone. And, YouTube has been a revelation. If you wanted a job, you had to, I remember when I was looking for my my next training opportunity, I would go to get the BMJ, so that's the British Medical Journal, and go to the job section, which was at the back, to look for any jobs. That was what I had to do. And we had to write CVs, and you had to write and print business cards. And now obviously we've got LinkedIn. So different times, and I think, they're better for it. So why do doctors go on social media? And, many doctors go on social media, and many medical students go on social media for various things. You can go on it to teach. You can go to network, which is, social media is supposed to be a social platform, and that's fantastic for networking with people. You go there to learn, to build authority, for branding purposes, to inspire people, to promote, if you have a business, for example, you can promote your business through social media, and also mentorship. And I think mentorship is quite important, especially for women in surgery. Being present and being role models can be super, super important to those aspiring to become surgeons. So when I was growing up and I was a trainee, there were not that many women surgeons, actually, and there's still not that many women surgeons. Only about 20% of all consultant surgeons in the UK are women. And that's absolutely shocking, considering over half of medical students are women. So and this is something that we need to change, and mentorship is very, very useful and very important in the realm of social media. Why do I go on social media? I go to network, to teach. I go on social media to learn, and hopefully inspire people. So those are my main reasons why I'm on social media. But you have to be mindful. And I think this was mentioned earlier this morning, because, we are all medical students and junior doctors and doctors, and we have to be mindful of what we post, because what is out there will forever be out there. And it's very, very difficult to retract. So I won't dwell too much on this because it had been covered before, but it is important to realize that you have to remember and be mindful of what you post. You have to be respectful of confidentiality and privacy. You cannot put patients' details out there, okay? If you are posting something from the hospital, for example, if you're filming, a snippet and you're posting on Instagram stories or reels, whatever, you have to make sure that there are no identifiable features that might get caught in the background that will become public domain. So you really, really have to be careful, okay? And we are all medical students. We all have professional responsibilities. Remember, you have to respect your colleagues. You cannot, you can't have kind of a fight or a diss of your colleagues online or your friends. That's not the right thing to do. You should not do that, and you have to be mindful of that. because yes, we are all, normal people. We go do our daily stuff, but there is somebody else at the end of that tweet or that post, and you have to be respectful. Maintaining boundaries, that is a tricky one. When you are on social media, you are on, you are being social, and there may be times when you are a doctor, when you become a doctor, that patients might reach out to you and ask certain things. And if you ever get those requests, I would suggest you just politely redirect them to the professional route. So for example, if somebody came to me via, DM me via Instagram, for example, I would politely say, okay, I think it would be best if you make an appointment to see me and we can have a discussion about this in the appropriate way. So very, very important to maintain boundaries. There is a guideline which is published by the GMC. I would recommend you go on to that and have a look at it. And it's very useful because it tells you and it guides you as to what you should and shouldn't do on social media. Okay, so have a look at the GMC guidelines online, and it's very easily obtainable, and you can download it. So my first post, I joined Twitter not that long ago, actually, 2017. And this was my first tweet, April 23rd, 2017. And this is what I wrote. And I still believe in it. I still think that the power of social media is undeniable. It is amazing if you use it in the correct way. This is my first Instagram post. Oh, look, it's one like. It was in June. Obviously, I just wanted to put it out there, and I think I was in Spain. So that was my first Instagram post. And I've joined TikTok, believe it or not. I only joined it in May, and this was my first TikTok post, and that was quite a fun thing to do. So those were my first posts. Yes, I forget to say, I have joined Facebook. I think actually Facebook was the first ever platform I joined many, many, many years ago. And I don't really use it that much, actually. So that's why I haven't really included it, because I'm not really active on that. So what should you post? So I posted those things and I thought, that's just a first post and it was quite fun. But then if you use it intentionally, social media can be really powerful. And in my opinion, these are the areas in which you should consider when you post. You should try to educate, you should try to entertain, and you should try to inspire. And these are the things, or these are the areas that I try to follow when I post something on social media. You don't have to, but I think it's a nice construct to follow, because it just makes your life slightly easier. So in the educational realm, what you might think, okay, what kind of things should I post? Well, it's actually quite easy. You guys are medical students, you're learning all the time, right? So you can say, okay, I don't know, today I'm learning about the Krebs cycle. Okay, maybe not the Krebs cycle, that's really dull. Today I'm learning about renal physiology. So then you can, post something about what you've learned about, I don't know, the loop of Henle, for example. What you're teaching, you might be teaching other medical students, you might be in a group, you can tweet or post something about what you teach each other. And you can also post something about your surroundings. You go to clinics, you go to theaters, you have visits, you might be in your GP surgery, anything within your surroundings that you can use as a prop to help teach something. Very, very useful. Entertaining things, that's easy, right? We all kind of should be happy and enjoying life, so you can post anything. Good times with your friends. If you're on TikTok, I guess you can do those dances. I don't, because I'm a terrible dancer. You can do sketches, be creative. Just do something that's quite humorous and that's fun. And lastly, inspiring things. So, very, anything that inspires you, if you find a quote that's inspirational to you, post it. If that quote inspires you, then it might inspire somebody else. Lessons that you've learned from somebody. You might have received encouraging words from a friend, or from your colleague, or from your mentor, or whoever, from your teacher, from your parents, anybody. Little things like that. You think, you know what, that really inspired me. I'm just going to post it because it might inspire somebody else. Remember though, especially if you're teaching, these things you need to apply. Okay, so they have to be accurate. If you're teaching something, they have to be evidence-based, and they have to be within your area of knowledge. So you can't, or I suggest you shouldn't post something about, I don't know, the intricacies of colorectal surgery, or how to do a bowel resection, if you don't really know how to do it. So just remember to be, to have integrity with what you do and what you post. That's very important. So at the end of the day, you are part of the medical profession, and you're a medical student. You may not be a doctor yet, but even if as a medical student, the lay person will then take what you say as a representation of the medical field, and that's why it's very important to be accurate with what you post. Okay, so this is an educational example of a post. Let's see if it works.
So I'm doing some weekend operating today. I've just got into my scrubs, and I'm going to go to theatre right now and see what's happening.
Did you see that? Was that okay?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, cool. So that's an example of an educational. Probably I use my surroundings as well to help give context.
So I'm doing.
Okay, slightly entertaining, I'm hoping. I was dead chuffed to be able to do that. All those piano lessons worked. And this is an example of an inspirational quote. So, I was in the theatre operating room, and I thought this will, a nice thing to do, talking about what I did today, and how an operating theatre is a place where, life-changing things happen, and what teamwork is all about. So that, I'm on the social platform medias, and I thought, okay, what else can I do? What else can I add to provide more value? And one of the things that I realized when I go and see my patients in clinics is that I don't have enough time to spend with them. I'll have 5 to 10 minutes max, and that's not enough. And I thought, what else can I do to help? So I thought, okay, let's do a podcast. Why not? And I don't know, I'm sure most of you know what a podcast is, right? But if you don't know what a podcast is essentially, as mentioned at the beginning, is on-demand radio. It's a bit like BBC iPlayer, I guess, but in audio form. This is an example of all of these amazing podcasts on the Apple podcast list. This is under medicine. And if you haven't ventured into the world of podcasts, I suggest you try it, because you learn so much by listening to any of these. And, this is just an example. There are many, many more. So then I thought, okay, my area of expertise is breast cancer and breast health. So that's what I did. I decided to do a podcast about my area of expertise. And this is the trailer of when it came out, which was literally just about 12 months ago. So there's a snippet.
Welcome to the My Breast, My Health podcast. My name is Tasha Gandibahaja, and I'm a breast cancer surgeon with over a decade's worth of experience. I created this podcast as a place where those who have been affected by breast cancer can connect with each other, share experiences, and learn from each other's life stories. I will also have conversations with experts in the field of medicine, as well as the health and wellness space. So if you want to learn more about this topic, then this is the place to be. The aim of this podcast is simple: to create a community where everyone feels empowered to help each other and support one another. This is because I truly believe that together we are stronger. I'm really happy to spend this time with you. So let's start building community.
So that was the trailer of the podcast, which I said I released 12 months ago, and it comes out every 2 weeks. And so then I thought I'll promote it, right? Because you do something, and I thought it would bring value. I'm very bad at trying to spread the message, but I thought I could create a social media post out of that. And I know it's whatever, midday, so apologies for the glass of wine there.
Well, and hope you've had an opportunity to enjoy the festive season. I am currently recording an episode for the podcast. This is the boom arm that is supporting the microphone. I'm using an old MacBook Air with GarageBand to edit it. And these are my headphones. So yeah, this is the setup I'm using. It gets the job done, which is the most important thing. And if you are curious, you can check out the podcast on any of the podcasting apps of choice. It's called My Breast, My Health. It's all about breast cancer and breast health. So have a good new year, and catch up with you soon. Take care. Bye. Hi.
And so now it's on Apple Podcast, and very, very briefly, it went all the way to number 7 in the medicine. Look, it climbed 193 places, and I was so chuffed with that. But Apple, podcasts they're just an amazing thing to explore. And if you haven't done so already, I urge you to do that. So what have I gained from social media throughout my relatively brief stint? As I said, I only joined it three years ago, so it's not that long. But I've made new connections and friends from all over the world. When I set up the podcast, I had people from Australia contacting me, and it just blows my mind. And I still think the power of social media is just absolutely amazing. I think hopefully I've provided value. I've definitely learned new skills. My editing skills have, rocketed from next to nothing to passable now, I think. I've definitely improved my knowledge. And Jazz is going to be talking about how social media can help you do that, by participating in all the amazing hashtags that are out there, and what Twitter, specifically can offer in regards to journal clubs and things like that. So she's going to talk about that, and I can't wait to listen to that. And finally, I've had real fun with social media, and I think people forget that social media is a social platform, and making friends and connecting and networking and having fun, I think, is the main thing. So lastly, this is something that I hope would inspire you. And this is something that literally actually just posted it last night. So
becoming a surgeon is not easy. It requires dedication and hard work. But it's an amazing vocation. No 2 days are the same, and it's an absolute privilege to do what you do. So if you want to be a surgeon, follow your dreams.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tasha. I would just like to let you know that during your talk, Sursock decided to create their own TikTok as well. So that coming at some point.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. It was amazing.
Thanks.
And the audio was great as well. So it was really nice listening.
Oh, really? That's good. Because I used a mic. That's probably why.
Yeah, that's good. Jazz, are you ready?
So hi everybody, let me just get my screen up. Oh. Yeah. Sorry, technical issues.
That's fine. There we go.
Okay,
Put it
perfect.
on, yeah, slideshow.
No, that's the wrong slide. Right, let's start at the beginning. Perfect.
Okay, I'll see you in a bit. Good luck.
All right. So hello everybody. I'm Jazz. I'm currently a CT1 in general surgery, but I'm on the pediatric surgery theme, which is what I want to do. So I will be starting that in February, and it's very exciting. So what I will be talking about today, as a really nice follow-on from the wonderful talk that Tasha just did, is I'm going to be looking at some of the famous hashtags that have been going around causing a bit of controversy on Twitter. And basically what I have got out of Twitter in the last couple of months, couple of years, and the opportunities that I've managed to get. It's great. So just to start off, what is MedTwitter? So I'm sure you all have heard of MedTwitter, and it's just something that I find really fun to use, especially over the last couple of months when COVID has happened. Usually I go to a lot of conferences and meet a lot of people, and it's great for networking, and obviously that's not really happening at the minute. So the one thing that I've really got out of MedTwitter in the last year, shall we say, has been continuing that networking and still meeting people from all over the place. The MedTwitter community is huge and it's international, so really do get involved. And it's nice to be part of a little family and share experiences and knowing that you're not alone. So I know Tasha covered some of the what to do and what not to do. And yes, there is the GMC guidance that will be shoved down your throat at med school. It was mentioned all the time. But I, from that, have created my own my own three rules, shall we say. So I don't post anything if I wouldn't read it out in front of a judge. Don't do it. If I wouldn't be able to read it out in front of my mother, then I would never post it. And if a patient was reading it and they're able to identify themselves from your tweet, just don't do it. And be very careful of posting when you're feeling angry, emotional, and you've had an argument or something happen. Just be very careful. Write your tweet by all means. Ranting is always very useful at relaying your information, but just save it as a draft and then sleep on it and think about whether you really should be posting that. Okay, so I really want to make this a little interactive. So I want to go through some of the hashtags that have gone on in the last couple of years that have really become viral on MedTwitter. So I would really love it if you would be able to post in the chat about just 1 or 2 words about how this slide makes you feel. So the first one I wanted to mention is hashtag #medbikini. So just to start you all off, this slide, the 2 tweets that I've chosen here just makes me feel inspired. So if you can start popping in the chat whilst I just explain the background of this, the whole viral med bikini. So it all started because there was a wonderful article that was posted in the Journal of Vascular Surgery, and it was called "The Prevalence of Unprofessional Social Media Content Amongst Young Vascular Surgeons." It was basically targeting women wearing bikinis, having a life, posting with glasses of alcohol, enjoying their social lives, like we all do, because everybody is human, we're not robots. And there was a huge viral backlash to this, which started this whole med bikini. So the 2 that I've chosen are the 2 that really resonated with me. I have never met this doctor, and I really wish to meet her one day, but she is incredible. So you can see here, so some of the images are quite gory. I should have mentioned that before I put the slide up. But you can see she is saving a life on the beach wearing a bikini and being amazing. So Ines, shall we go through some of the comments that people have made about this?
Yeah, definitely. Keep putting comments up and I'll share them with Jazz now. So the first one is, it makes me feel like women are so powerful and we can do anything and everything.
Absolutely.
Powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Women are just awesome, inspirational.
Incredible. That's exactly the kind of stuff that I wanted you to say, because just even without the words of these tweets, the images themselves are so powerful, and it shows really just what we're capable of. So
We can do anything at any time. We're powerful and we can multitask.
perfect. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so just moving on to the next one. So the next one I meant to mention is, so this might be just a little bit before your time at med school. So this was in my final year of med school. So this invokes a lot of emotion in me. So Moe Medics was, so in final year of medical school, I was when the junior doctor strikes were going on. So it was quite hard being at med school with all of that to look forward to in the next upcoming year of starting as a junior doctor. So basically this all started when the junior doctor strike was going on, and the Sun came out with a great article. We don't like the Sun, and I never normally read the Sun, but they basically entitled this article as "Junior Doctors Earn So Much Money, They Live This Huge Flashy Life with Flashy Cars and over expensive clothes." And again, this tweet went viral with Moe Medics, and you can see some of the things that people have posted, because we don't live flashy lives and we don't earn tons and tons of money, and the strike was not about that at all. So to me, all of this invokes a lot of emotion, and I still use this hashtag all the time when I am feeling fancy. So when I am having a glass of champagne, it just brings me right back to this. So let's see some of the comments that other people have made.
I'm waiting on some comments. So one of the delegates said it's not representative of medical students.
Absolutely.
The other one, yeah. Not representative of medical students.
No, it's not at all. And again, it's just the media playing on lots of different little things that don't really represent us at all. So I'm glad this went viral, because it really showed everybody on Twitter, all the lay people, all the public, that actually that's not what we are.
And that is also unfair and overlooked.
Absolutely. Okay.
And that's the final one. This just reflects on how stereotypes need to be overcome. Doctors aren't rich. We are rich with experience, and that's what matters.
Exactly. We're rich in our experiences. I like that. That's a great quote. Okay, going on to the next one. So you will all know this one, because everybody uses this, and we've been using this to market today as well, the whole conference. So I look like a surgeon, and this all started as like a follow-on from I look like an engineer. So it's gone on in all different communities, all different professions. And it's just enabling women to feel inspired and educated, and look at all of these amazing women that I've found. All I did was look for this hashtag last night, and I found all of these. And I really enjoy that first one with RGB and Camilla Harris. It's great. So this to me just like is the epitome of inspiration, and this is exactly what we're about: women in surgery, women in medicine, just women in healthcare. And all of these pictures are just incredible. So let's see what some people have been saying about this.
So mainly saying that it's inspiring. We did explain the whole story at the start about when the hashtag for surgeon started. And I think most people know now when this all started.
Yes.
Female empowerment, and it's great teamwork as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look at these incredible teams. They're all women, and they're all amazing. And it just goes to show you as medical students, this is what you could be. And there's nothing to stop you from being one of these women.
Exactly. And the beauty and joy of being a doctor in general.
Absolutely. And like Tasha mentioned, it is an absolute privilege.
Exactly. And finding online communities of other like-minded people as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things I really love about Twitter, is that you do feel part of that community. And especially now, as we're not being able to debrief in small rooms because you can't be in a small room, and you're not seeing people at conferences, you're not seeing people face to face enough anymore. That's why I really feel like I've used Twitter a hell of a lot more in the last couple of months. Okay, the next one is one that people may not know of too much. So the gentleman in the middle in the bottom is Simon Fleming. So he is a huge advocate for this he for she movement. So it's basically to encourage advancement of gender equality. And it's not just in healthcare, it's everywhere. And in 2020, we really shouldn't be having this problem, but it's still going on, and it's still important that we're engaging with this and commenting on it. So you can see some of the tweets that have been going on. There's a whole world of tweets out there, and it's really important that we're addressing this inequality. We're addressing that actually the NHS is full of diversity and full of diverse people, and we should be embracing this and not causing an issue. Okay, what have people commented?
For this one, it's a modern and powerful approach. This one feels hopeful, but it's not just chasing a wild dream. Pursuing that is not just for one type of person or gender.
Absolutely, it's not, and it's not gender specific. It's the whole world of transgender, and it's just really powerful that people are talking about this.
I wasn't aware of this one, actually.
Yeah, it's a great one to get involved in. So after today, you can go and look it up.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next one. So tips for new doctors. Now, this will be very relevant to you before you start as a junior doctor in that 1st August, whenever that may be. So this happens every single year in July. So junior doctors, consultants post all of these tips for new doctors for you starting in August. So sometimes these can get a little bit controversial, because at the end of the day, you're an adult and you have spent a long time at uni and a long time building yourself up, and you know most of these things. And so sometimes it can come across as a little patronizing. But the ones that I have chosen are the ones that have exactly just explained what I've said. So I really love that one at the bottom. You're a professional adult and don't let anybody treat you otherwise. So when you do start as a junior doctor, you can look out for some of these. But yeah, I would take some of them with a pinch of salt. But it's just really nice to have that engagement and have people connecting. Because at the end of the day, no matter what stage in your career you are always an F1. And I know some people forget that, but you were always an F1, and we do know what that was like. So it's really important to be encouraging and be inspiring. Okay, so what if some people commented about this one?
Waiting. So nice to feel supported and that everyone has each other backs in such a challenging career. The encouragement every new doctor needs at the beginning of his path in medicine as well.
Absolutely.
And that is great to know we all start somewhere and we all keep learning as well.
Yes, and the journey is lifelong, and yes, you have to start from somewhere, but we're all in it together.
Exactly. And it creates a sense of community as well.
It does. And it's just beautiful. And it's nice to be part of that family. Okay. And then I think this is the last one I'm going to mention before I start talking about myself. Okay. So like a lady doc. So this was in response to an article that was published about staffing issues in hospital. And the reason that those staffing issues exist is because most women go part-time because they want to stay at home and look after their family, and and to put their families first and make sure, there's food on the table, etc., which is a stereotype that we really shouldn't be encouraging in this day and age. So again, MedTwitter came to the rescue, and this went absolutely viral. So like a lady doc is something that maybe I think all of you should go and search, because this just makes me feel so proud to be part of this community. So what do some people think about this one?
I'm waiting for some comments on this one.
If not, we can come back to it at the end.
Someone said we need to make viral examples like this one.
Yeah, absolutely we do, because we are great doctors and we need more of us in every specialty, especially in surgery.
Someone commented as well, there's the reason I have a pink stethoscope as well.
Absolutely, exactly. So I think this was synonymous with Pink Wednesdays. So that's how people were supporting it in hospitals. You wear pink on a Wednesday. Okay, so that's some of the tweets that have gone viral, and you can really see the power of Twitter. And even as a medical student, you can get involved in some of these. and just remember that there is a whole world out there, and they are all very similar to you, and we're all a huge community. Okay, so this is my little word cloud that I created. So this is basically what I use MedTwitter for. And these are some of the things that I've really got out of it. So I've already mentioned some of the networking and getting in touch with people, but I'm going to talk you through a few examples that that I've really got out of MedTwitter and that I've managed to find just by searching. So the first one, so this is one of my old bosses. It's Dr. Verma. He's a gastroenterologist at Kettering General. But you can just see, so some of the education and the learning that can happen on Twitter as well. So FOMED is a great hashtag to use. So it's free open access medical education. And this is one of Dr. Verma's posts. And he really likes to create these threads of very short threads of just little snippets of education. So even as a medical student, you can get involved in some of these. And I'm pretty sure I saw some final year medical students on Twitter creating a whole teaching thread and people getting involved. And it's just a really lovely thing to be part of. So here he's mentioning iron deficiency anemia and just little snippets that even you as a medical student can get involved in and learn. So I always take something from Dr. Verma's posts, and they're always great to read. Okay. And then obviously networking. So this just highlights exactly the lack of face-to-face conferencing that's happened this year. So it's great that we're doing all of these virtual conferences, and it opens it out internationally. You can log into a conference from the comfort of your own home and learn and get involved. But you're really missing out on this face-to-face networking, face-to-face building these relations with people from all over the world and all over the country. But that's where MedTwitter can really help with that. So you can get in touch with people, you can find opportunities like audits to get involved in, projects to get involved in, and even just people that inspire you, like Tasha. People that are just super inspiring that you can follow and just gain life experience from. And then this is just a gentle plug. So we are doing a journal club on Twitter as part of the new COVID rules. So we're not really allowed to all go into a lecture theatre anymore and do this face-to-face. So we've adapted it. So what we'll be doing is, so this is our first post that we did. So it's on YouTube. It's just a little video going through some slides, going through the article that we've chosen. And it just evokes all of this discussion. So people can get involved, people can discuss it. We post it all at the same time. And it just really is exactly like a face-to-face journal club, but more people can get involved, which is really nice. And you can always go back and read things. And again, it's just learning and educating everybody in the community. And again, so after starting my job, so I work at Queen's Medical Centre in Nottingham, which is a huge place. And you really don't get to meet everybody whilst you're there and look at all of the opportunities that are arising. So I found this on Twitter, and this is, so Icon Trauma is a huge collaborative study that they're doing in Nottingham, in the East Midlands Trauma Centre, looking at the impact of COVID on trauma across the UK, but mainly in our centre. And I had no idea this was going on until I found it on Twitter, and I got in touch with the relevant people, and now I'm involved. And it's a great opportunity that I found that you can all get a part of. So even if people are not advertising these things, so projects and audits, you can always get in touch with people and they'd be more than happy to help you. And finally, jobs. So not everybody is fortunate enough to get into, for example, core surgical training, and it doesn't matter. It really makes no difference to your future progression, to your future career, because there's so many opportunities like this out there. And people are posting these all the time. There's clinical fellowships, there's leadership fellowships, teaching fellowships that you can do. And even if you do just want to take an F3 year, you can do one of these, and they're all out there. So I have a strong suspicion these are all posted on Twitter before they're posted on the websites. So not only gives you these opportunities to find on Twitter, but you can then get in touch with these people and see what other opportunities there are. And finally, just back to the word cloud. So there's so much you can do on Twitter. And yes, you do need to be a little careful about what you're posting. But as a follow-on from what to post, this is basically an example of what you can find and what opportunities exist out there. So I hope that's given you a little insight into all of the things that I've got out of Twitter just in the last couple of months. So thank you very much for listening. Always get in touch. My DMs are always open. I mainly use Twitter and Instagram, and you're all more than welcome to get in touch with me, even if it's just to chat about things. And yeah, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Jazz. We're now going to move to some questions, if that's okay. You can both come, by the way, you can to answer some questions. So the first one is, has anybody ever asked you, you're creating this content, are you not wasting time that you could be staying on work, for example?
Shall I go that first, Jazz?
Yeah.
No, actually, nobody's asked me or said that to me. I know people do that, you know, when you see the comments on other people's posts, they do say, oh, you know, you're a doctor, you should be saving lives, you're far too busy on the ward, why are you doing this? I don't do any content creation during my working day. I do it at the end of the day or at home or at weekends. So, and it's impossible, you know, the reality is you can't really do stuff like that during working hours because you're too busy. You might be able to do it at lunch breaks, and, you know, and we're all humans, you need to eat something, and it's a good and efficient use of your time if you have, you know, a spare 5 minutes. It doesn't take, you know, hours to create something that is useful. So people do create, you know, content during their lunch breaks or after work, but personally, I haven't had that comeback. I'm not sure about you, Jess, have you?
No, I've never had that either. But I imagine if I did have something said like that to me, like you said, we're human. We don't spend every minute of every working day at work, and we have the European Working Time Directive in place for that reason. We don't live at work. We have lives outside of work, and we do this in our free time to help inspire the next generation, because without you all, there'd be nothing to pass on. And I really love inspiring people and seeing the whole world of like future surgeons that are coming up who are female and incredible and powerful. So that's what I would say if someone did say that to me.
That's great. Someone else asked, what is the best experience you've had thanks to social media?
Best experience?
Yeah. Or maybe the best opportunity you've taken from social media.
Yeah, I think it's connecting with people is what I value most out of social media. Yes, I've been contacted via social media to do presentations, to teach at certain, talk at certain conferences or teach at certain places. Yes, you know, that is good opportunities, and that's a bonus, and I'm grateful for that. But what I value most out of social media is the networking. And I've actually, for my podcast, for example, a lot, if not most of the people that I have invited to come onto the podcast are through social media connections. A lot of them I've never met in person. You know, I've never met quite a few of those I've interviewed in person because I interview remotely. And that is the power of social media. So personally, it's the connecting of people that you can do from, you know, all over the world. And it's just mind-blowing, you know, because I know what it was like before social media. I know that connecting with people in, you know, forget about, you know, Australia, which we've been lucky enough to have, a speaker today to talk to us from Australia. But I know how difficult that is to do. And now we can literally, get on your phone and speak to somebody from a different country. That's just astounding to me. So yeah, social connections is what I value most.
What do you
Yeah.
think?
How about you, Jazz?
And as a little follow on from that, so I have so many role models that I found through Twitter and Instagram, and they're people from all over the world. There's people from Australia, people from America that I never would have found without social media. So it's just been so helpful to have those female role models, reading some of the things that they post and some of the life experiences that they've had, because inevitably I will have those life experiences too. And it's just nice to read about other people's experiences and how they've got to where they are and the hard work and dedication that they've put in, because that to me is just so inspiring. And yeah, and it's not, and I love traveling, don't get me wrong, I love traveling to new places and different cities, but you physically can't do that all the time, and especially during COVID, and we don't really know how long this is going to last. It's just nice to have that connection with everybody across the world, and it just makes the world seem much smaller than it actually is. So the main thing that I have got out of Twitter is actually I arranged one of my electives at the end of medical school through Twitter. So I went to Barbados and did pediatric and adult orthopedics, and I only did that by finding the head of service, and I got in touch with her, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm more than welcome to come over." So we managed to arrange it through Twitter, which was just mind blowing.
It's crazy. And I've noticed while organizing this conference how powerful social media is, how powerful sharing a message about a conference is and where it goes. Just by saying that it reached 60 countries, you can see how powerful social media can be. From one being sitting in my desk at home, emailing people or just sending some message on social media, all of a sudden, well, you can see 60 different countries registering, and we're like, okay, right. I don't know how it got there, but it's amazing. This is an interesting question. Is it advisable to have separate accounts? So one for professional medicine related and one that you usually share with your family and friends?
I think so. When I created when I joined Facebook all those years ago, that was a purely personal account, and it had always been a personal account. And that's why I'm not really engaging with Facebook, just because I don't like the platform really, now. But that is purely for personal things. If I were to continue on it, I'm on Instagram and Twitter. They are used really for, I would say, more professional. So I do curate it in a way that I don't mix my personal life on that platform, and that is purely it's an intentional thing. I don't, that's, I know other people mix it, and that's absolutely fine. But for me, that is how I've curated those platforms. But there's nothing wrong in mixing them necessarily, but that's just how I've curated my platforms. I'm not, how about you, Jess? I think you've got a personal one as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I agree. That's exactly what I do. So I keep everything quite separate, actually. So I don't particularly use Facebook much anymore, but that was mainly for my personal networking between my friends and family. So I've very much kept away from posting about work on there. Not that I post much on there anymore. But yeah, Twitter, I generally keep as a more professional platform. So I try not to post much of my own personal life on there unless it's relevant to something that I'm posting about, or a life experience that I'm posting about. And yeah, I do know people that have separate accounts, but I think they find it quite tiring having to log on and post things in different things and keeping everything very separate. I mean, it's important, and it might work for you if you have two separate things that are only reaching certain people. But I would just find that quite tiring.
Okay, that was great. Thank you. I do agree with you in having separate accounts. There are a lot of people who choose to mix them up, but I feel like it gives you more privacy if you can, because you want to share some things with your family and friends and others to inspire people like you as well, and to talk about your work and without breaking confidentiality, talk about any cases that you find interesting during the day, and that gives you a little bit of space to have like two lives, one about you, you and your family, and then another one about work. Yeah. Thank you so much. I think we're now going to move to the feedback so we can move to the next talk. Thank you so much for coming. And we will see you again in the Q&A.
Perfect.
Great.
Very much for having us.
Guys, see you later.
See you.
Bye.